Let me get this out of the way first. I really like Johnny Depp as a person. I think he's a very good man. I think he can be very funny. But I don't like him as an actor anymore. And I used to, but then he kind of got stuck in the same roles over and over and over. This kind of quirky, sarcastic, well, let's face it, Jack Sparrow-y kind of person in almost every role. And it's gotten tiresome, and I love him, but it's getting annoying. And I'm not really looking forward to The Lone Ranger. This has gotten so much controversy, and if you haven't heard why, here we go. To put it in most simple terms, Lone Ranger is a kind of superhero-ish, kind of Batman-ish, hero. Wears a mask, righting wrongs, all the good stuff. And his sidekick is a Native American, played in this version by Johnny Depp. Yeah. Now, he's actually gotten permission from a tribe for this role, but I still feel extremely uncomfortable about this. And of course, as a white person, my opinion means shit. But here I go anyway. Feel free to ignore it. The fact is, even in 2013, Hollywood does so much whitewashing, it's not funny. Well, it never was funny, but, it's just ridiculous. In this progressive modern age, we still won't give actors of color their color. Ugh, bad way to say it. How is it that they could not find a single Native American actor to fill this role? Not even one good actor? And the fact that they don't even try just tells me they were only doing this for the celebrity, which means they're only doing it for the money, which means they don't really care at all. And about a cowboy donning a mask and doing all this cool stuff. That's awesome. I love that kind of stuff. I like cowboys, I like action, I like adventure, I like heroes. But when you involve a Native American as the sidekick, it's going to get uncomfortable. There's going to be broken English. There's going to be spiritual wisdom. There's going to be a lot of, let's face it, it's not going to be a fun ride. It's going to be like a, jeez. And I think the best way to describe this is the magical Negro trope. If you haven't heard about it, you can look up Spike Lee's lecture on it or the TV tropes page about it. It's basically this spiritual, wise, almost supernatural person of color who comes in to help Whitey out and kind of never really gets a role for themselves. They never try to solve their own problems. Their only role is to help the white person. That's why he's a sidekick. Despite Tonto's face being on all the major posters and trailers, it's still called the Lone Ranger, and it's still going to be him and how he became the Lone Ranger and all of his stuff. Which was, of course, the problem with the main show in the comics. This could have been a good idea. This could have been potential. But they chose not to get Native American. They chose to for the one that would get fans and attention. And that's so sad. It's one of those things that extremely disappoints me about Disney. When they've obviously made a choice that they don't care about respecting culture or anything, and they only care about money. And I love Disney, of course. Why am I talking about this? But even I can admit they make terrible decisions at times. I admit this company can just break my heart, as it's done a million times. And this is just one of these times. It's really a horrible, but at the same time good example of whitewashing. And how it's still going on in these giant productions, in these great companies. They will still make the active decision to hire. I get so worked up over about it. Again, as a white person, maybe this shouldn't affect me as much, but as a decent person, it still affects me. I remember talking to my parents about these kind of issues a year or two ago. Back, now I can't remember the movie we were fighting about, but we were in a restaurant, and I was getting so energized, saying, "Why? Well, it's about these Chinese people. Well, they didn't hire any Chinese people. They just use cameras and Photoshop and all this crap to make them Chinese, and that's yellow washing. That's horrible. Oh my God, why would you do this? Why wouldn't you just have Chinese actors? And my parents just thought I was getting way too overactive. They just thought, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Why do you care? Maybe it's just their way of telling the story. Maybe the actors are just that good. And it's sad that they don't understand this. It's probably harder for an older audience, or older directors, older writers, older producers, and all that crap to understand this because they grew up in an age where this was not only common, but no one argued about it as much, or wasn't heard about as much. But in this day and age, when you have the internet and there's so much power and more people can be heard, people are going to speak up about this now. People are going to be loud about it. Protests are going to be made. There's going to be petitions. And which is why I love the internet so much, because more people can be heard and you have a much stronger backlash when it's needed. Unfortunately, the Lone Ranger is at a point where, it's too late to go back now. It's still going to come out, and the controversy is still going to reign for a very long time. And I'm still going to be very disappointed. I'm not going to see this movie. I'll just say it right now. No matter what reviews I hear, I just can't approve this choice. In the future, I say this a lot, don't I? I guess I'm very optimistic about the future. Anyway, in the future, if these kind of stories come up again, I hope Disney can actually think for once and choose people of color to play people of color. It's not that difficult. There are tons of actors out there, new and old and all kinds, of every color, every race, every religion, everything. Come on, how difficult can this be to find one? You're actively choosing not to do it? Well, stop. If you have these kind of stories in the future, pick them up. They're out there. Prove to us what a good company you are. Prove to us that it means something to you. Prove to us you actually want to tell a good story and that it's more important to you than money and celebrity. Because I know it's in you somewhere. So to wrap things up, not seeing Lone Ranger. Look up Magical Negro tropes on TV Tropes to understand this better, or see the Spike Lee lecture about it. And I just hope we can get a little more comfortable in the future.